Are you already stressed out about what to do with that dried up Christmas tree when the holiday season ends? Well, don't worry. Roby Whitehouse, the Assistant Director of the DPW, is here for all of your holiday recycling needs. Meet her next. Welcome, Roby, to the Your Yarmouth podcast.
Thank you, Lori. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's so great to have you here. With the holidays and winter coming, we figured what a better time than to get you on the podcast. And before we dive into all of the holiday recycling stuff, I just want to give you a second to really talk about what does your team do this time of year, especially in the month of December?
Our facility, the dump, the transfer station, the disposal area, the waste management facility, whatever you want to call it, is busy all year. So I don't think that we look at it as an extra burden. We just shift, we pivot, and the team does a great job at that. So whether it's Christmas trees, as you referenced, or string lights, or if it's wrapping paper, we're constantly prepared to answer questions and take care of whatever comes into the facility.
So let's talk about recycling. What goes in the bin and what never goes in the bin? Because I know that there's a lot of confusion sometimes with that.
Sure. That is a really long and really big black hole of information because it's constantly changing. Just most recently, the Department of Environmental Protection released an update saying that paper cups can be recycled.
Okay.
We've been told no for many, many, many years, and now all of a sudden, plastic cups and paper cups are recyclable. So one thing that really stands out this time of year, an item that should not be recycled, is wrapping paper. That should go in the trash. It's a contaminant that just would not go well with our mixed paper. So we ask that those not go in the trash. Something that we ask not to be placed in our commingled container is string lights. So we have a separate container for those string lights. Like string lights, anything that is long could potentially tangle the conveyor belt, and those things are asked not to be in the commingled. The big things, I think the positives that the DEP tries to present to us are the things that should be recycled. They really focus on the waistband items that should not go in the trash.
So if I am recycling my cans, am I rinsing those cans out before I'm putting them in the recycle bin? What about pizza boxes? How about that?
Oh, great questions. Absolutely. So yes, we do ask that you not take any extra water, but when you're rinsing your dishes, you can rinse those cans out with a swish here and there. They don't want a large amount of food left in them. Same things with your plastic jars. Rinse them and then put the cover back on, throw them in there. Pizza boxes, absolutely. They're recyclable, but no pizza.
What about, online shopping is big. Cardboard boxes are everywhere. Some people might not know that they should recycle cardboard and they just throw it in the trash. Can you tell us how important that is to recycle your cardboard?
Oh, absolutely. We hear from residents all the time that they're going to the drop-off area and they're seeing people throw cardboard in the trash, and it really upsets them because they're aware that the DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection, has a waistband regulation that says all cardboard should be recycled. Now, a lot of people have come back to me and said, you only want to recycle that cardboard because it has a value. The commodity is only at $10 a ton right now, so it's not about the money. Yeah. It's really about just doing the right thing, putting it in the recycle stream. Remember that it takes one tree, to make 390 boxes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's really important that we save our trees, so let's repurpose those cardboard boxes and keep those trees up there.
I mean, it might sound like a silly question, but are we breaking down the cardboard boxes before we put them in the recycle bin? Are we squishing them in there? How can we make it easier for you at the disposal area?
We're going to make it hard for you to place a full cardboard box into our compactor. We've actually placed a piece of wood on it, so you really have to compact that cardboard so that it goes down into the hopper, goes down into the compactor, and then gets hauled away. So definitely break that cardboard down. And remember to pull out any plastic bags or strapping or styrofoam. All of those
Styrofoam.
things are really considered contaminants, and we really don't want to see those things in the cardboard.
Okay, so those peanut styrofoams go in the trash.
Correct.
There's no hope for those.
Nope.
Okay.
Not in Yarmouth. Now, I think that anyone watching who's come from the western part of the country, they
Yeah.
might say, hey, that peanut, we recycle it out in our area.
Yeah.
It's not recyclable here.
Okay. Now, Christmas trees. I've always had a real Christmas tree. And unfortunately, the needles become a big deal. And I want to get rid of it like the day after Christmas. How soon can people bring the Christmas tree to the disposal area, and what is the process for that?
Well, you're in luck. The Yarmouth disposal area will accept those Christmas trees the day after Christmas.
Okay.
And we will continue to accept them probably into the first week in February. We want to extend that for people. We may even go into the second week of February because some people like to keep those Christmas trees up until there are no needles left on them. But that you must have a Yarmouth Recycle sticker or a Yarmouth Recycle Only sticker. So those are important. They can come right into the facility, stop at the gatehouse. They'll get directions, or they can come right around the circle and just after the magazine shed and just before the food waste. So in that vicinity, if they're in the area and they're familiar with those landmarks.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Now, winter is here, and the snow will be coming. We haven't had any yet, but it's going to be coming our way, I'm sure, soon. How does that affect the disposal area? Because I know sometimes right after the holidays, everybody just wants to get rid of their stuff.
Yeah.
So are there different rules that you have to deal with?
Well, as many of our residents know, the facility is open 7 days a week. I say that, and then in a piece of me that says, because we're open 7 days a week, we work very hard to make sure that we stay open 7 days a week. But should there be a snowstorm that restricts travel or in any way is more than 2 to 4 inches, let's just say, we will be utilizing the staff from the disposal area to assist with making sure the roads are clear.
Okay.
So that means there may either be a delayed opening in order for us to make sure that it's safe for our employees and for our residents to access the facility, or if it's much more than that, the facility may have to be closed. Now, with that said, we will certainly make sure that you're aware so that you can help us get the word out to everyone. We'll also make a notice on our website, and we'll make sure that we get the word out to everybody. And we'll probably already be telling people it's really important that you stay in your home to the best of your ability so that we can get the roads clear.
And social media, too. We use that a lot to get that message out, for sure. With the snow is the need for snowplow drivers. So if I have a plow and I want to make a little extra money, can I do that? How do I apply? How does that work?
You have a plow?
I don't.
Come see me. Absolutely. So anyone with a plow and a driver and an interest and a willingness can either call the DPW, the Department of Public Works, at 508-775-2516. They can send us an email at Yarmouth Public Works, the Yarmouth Public Works at yarmouth.ma.us.
Yeah.
So sorry, it just went out of my head for
It's
a second.
okay.
And also they can stop by the 74 Townbrook Road location, and we'd be happy to give them an application. We definitely need plow drivers. We need those trucks. It's a challenge, and I don't think Yarmouth is alone. So definitely come see us. And we have bonuses too, so keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah, that's a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
How does the DPW deal with snow emergencies this time of year?
Oh, we're preparing right around August. We start preparing for emergency situations. So August, September, we're focusing more on making sure that our trees are taken care of. We're making sure that we're prepared should there be an event with our chainsaw crew, our chipping crew. Those are our primary focuses. But we're also starting to get ready to get our contractors in for snow and ice. So we started working on our contract right around the end of September.
Wow, okay.
And getting clarification on what those bonuses are going to be, what the rates of pay are going to be, soliciting drivers. Yeah. And soliciting employees. To tell you the truth, we're reaching out to every area of the town to try to get drivers to assist us with that process. I would also say that the drivers that work for the DPW are actually out driving those routes. They're looking at the pavement. They're looking at the roadsides. They're making themselves familiar so that when they do get out there to plow the snow, they're in good shape.
How can the residents of Yarmouth help make this season a little bit easier on everybody, on your department and just in the town in general?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, when it's snowing, do your best to stay off the road.
Yeah.
If you're shoveling your driveway, be aware we are not trying to plow in your driveway,
Yeah.
but we do have to make sure the roads are safe. And I would also say anyone who has those markers out at the end of their lawn, should there be a great deal of snow, we can't always see where the lawn is. Those
Okay.
markers are really, really helpful to us.
Okay.
And as a snowplow driver myself, I will say that if your children are out playing in the yard and we're driving by, have them go to the backyard. Sometimes that snow gets flying, and we certainly wouldn't want anybody to be hurt. We're doing the best we can to get the roads cleared off.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I know that some of these tips might sound simple, but I really think it's a great way for the Yarmouth residents to stay connected. And I think that you shed some light on things that people might not know. So for everybody listening, don't forget to recycle your cardboard, your lights. You can recycle that Christmas tree the day after Christmas until the beginning of February. And just be careful out there when you're dealing with the snow. Now, before we let you go, we like to end our podcast with a little rapid fire questions.
Oh, boy.
And since it is the holiday season, we want to do this holiday Cape style. So I'm going to ask you a question and just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay,
All right.
I'm ready.
Christmas tree, real or fake?
Real.
Oh, okay. Like that. Lights, white or multicolor?
A white, for sure.
Absolutely, I agree. Wrapping, neat corners, or you just throw it in a bag and deal with it later?
Oh, I know. I throw it in a bag whenever possible. I do not like to wrap. I'm not good at it. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, so recycling, do you like to deal with the tangled lights or the soggy cardboard? What would you rather?
Oh, those are not very good choices, Lori. I'm sorry to say. I would
Both
say
are bad.
No, they're not. I would say no. If we're talking good or bad, I'd rather have the soggy cardboard. To tell you the truth, it still has a value,
Okay.
even if it's a little bit wet. For
Okay,
sure.
good to know. Winter comfort food, clam chowder or hot chocolate?
Hot chocolate.
Absolutely.
Hot
right?
chocolate. Yes.
Polar bear plunge, yes or never?
Absolutely not.
I actually did that.
Congratulations.
Years ago, like 30 years ago. I did it in Rhode Island, and I will never do it again.
Okay, thanks for that. Now you just convinced me even more. No, it's not. No.
Finally, hidden talent. Do you got one?
Oh, this is a really interesting question. I don't. But I will say one of the things that I do with my significant other, my amazing husband, is that every year for the past 25 years, we've made fudge, homemade fudge.
Okay.
And I have to say that I've never, ever heard anyone say anything bad about that fudge.
Okay.
But it's a partnership that really, it brings us closer every year. And I don't want to say how much fudge we make because it's a lot, but it's really a cherished time for me, and it's a recipe that was passed down by my parents.
Well, thank you, Roby, for joining us again today on the Your Yarmouth podcast. And thank you all for listening. Don't forget, you can follow us on our website, our YouTube channel, Channel 8, all of our social media, and you can find us anywhere that you get your podcast. Thanks again. Until next time, happy holidays, Yarmouth.